Oh, we'll all join hands and we'll gather round when that old guitar starts to make that sound. A lot of good things went down, down, down back in the good days. We was in love with the people that we hadn't even met, out for anything that we could get. Oh, we did it then and we'll do it yet, back in the good days. Yeah, the good old days are past and gone. A lot of good people have done.
The good old days, not the good old days. The good old days. I like that. That's John Hartford from 1971. The album's called Aeroplane. And A-E-R-O, Carol, because that's how they spelled it in the good old days. Aeroplane, 2 words. Aeroplane. We got lots. I don't have a whole lot of links. I've got a couple of really important links, though, this week. So check it out. You don't have to listen to me. Carol, they say my voice gets kind of annoying if I get angry. So I'm trying to be mellifluous. 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 I'm going to make my voice mellifluous. But when I talk about the idiocy of this Republican push to convince you there's like massive voter fraud in North Carolina, we're going to get to that. But Carol, there's a more important problem.
Yes, there is.
We have a more important issue. A shameful, unspoken problem in America today. Your grandmother's earwax. It's true. They think I'm joking, Carol. I'm trying to tell them the truth. I'm trying to speak the gospel about life in America today. So I got this cat out of the sewer that's adopted me. Cost me $400 so far this year, Carol. That damn sewer cat, that's her name. The vet was like, sewer cat? I'm like, yeah, you can call her Sue. if it bothers you. But my neighbor and I named it Sewer Cat, and damn it, my roommate's like, really? You're going to keep that? I'm like, yes. Her name's Sewer Cat. She came from the sewers. She adopted me. Carol, this cat is so crazy. You know how crazy this cat is? This cat goes outside in the mornings. I come home from work. I let the cat inside. Cat's been outside all day. What does she do? What's the first thing she does, Carol? She goes to the litter box and poops in the litter box. I'm like, you've been out freaking all day. What are you doing? And this cat is just crazy. But you know what, Carol? Anytime what's the answer to the question, why is my cat doing this? Whatever the this is, whatever the this in, why is my cat doing this? Whatever the this is, the answer is the same. You ready? Cats are weird. Yes, Carol's back there with 2 old cats. She's like, yep, they are. Cats are just weird. So my little sewer cat, Sue, Sewer Cat, has decided that she's got a new way to wake me up. You know what her new way to wake me up in the mornings is, Carol? No, really, we're going to talk about the Republican idiotic voter fraud claims. Seriously, the NNO fell hook, line, and sinker for this crap. The front page of the NNO had an article. Oh, look at this. Potential, here it is. Here. Can you see that, Carol? No? Okay. Well, potential voter fraud. Review finds 765 NC cases of potential voter fraud. Right? That's what the NNO said. Review finds 765 cases of potential voter fraud. Guess what? The guy that did the review is a Republican out of Kansas who whose voter fraud reviews haven't resulted in a single prosecution yet. It's all about getting headlines like this in the papers, in the local papers, so they can purge the voting rolls. Oh, wait, we're talking about earwax.
Yes.
We're going to get back to that.
Weird cats and earwax.
So my cat. Oh, you can call us. We're live if it's Wednesday. 996-6775. We don't have to include the 919, Carol, because progress. You know, progress going back. We never used to have to include the 919, and now we do. And that's considered progress. So anyway. Yeah, if you can see the show, you're in the area code. So my cat has decided to lick my eyelids, Carol. That's to wake me up. Do you know how rough a cat's tongue is? Do you know how sensitive your eyelids are? I mean, you can't see mine right now, but I have them. and they're closed when I'm sleeping. So the cat has decided to discover my eyelids. And then, Carol, are you ready? The cat found my ear holes. The sewer cat. Sue, the sewer cat, found my ear holes and started licking in my ears. And then, Carol, and this was a sign I had a problem, I admit it, she started really digging into my ear holes. The sewer cat likes my earwax. And I'm like, ow, ow, ow. But you know what? It kind of needs to be cleaned out in there, I guess. So I kind of let her do it for a little bit. And so that's the America's shame. No, that's not. That's my shameful secret. Here's America's shame. No, but seriously, Carol. Seriously. Talking about earwax. We're going to be serious. Can we take a deep breath? Pause. Moment of silence for earwax. Oh, that feels good, Carol. Why don't we do that more often? Let's do one more. Ready? Ready? Inhale. Hold it. Hold it. Oh, one more. Oh, God. Just doing that 3 times an hour, Carol. There'll be no wars in America. Okay, so I've known a bunch of people who have elderly relatives who they thought were going deaf. Seriously, this has happened to 3 people I know. They thought the elderly relatives were going deaf. Yeah. You know, oh yeah, that's just Gramps, you know, his hearing's going, it's bad. You know, he doesn't hear as well as he used to. And imagine that. Imagine, you know, the world just kind of fuzzing up and sound, you know. I know we have, you know, people who are disabled, blind, and listen to the voice. I don't know if deaf people can watch our show, but, you know, I know 3 cases where people with elderly relatives have just assumed that grandpa, grandma, you know, whatever, they're just not hearing as well because it's that age, you know. And it turns out what was really happening, seriously, take a moment to be serious about earwax. They just had impacted earwax. Imagine that. You've had an elderly relative who's been slowly going deaf for the last year or 2, and you just accepted it. And really, it's just a bunch of earwax that hasn't been cleaned out. Yep. Okay, Carol, I said 10 minutes on earwax, right? 10 minutes on earwax. Where else are you going to get that in Raleigh? Huh? This is an important unspoken problem in America today. Take grandma to the, not even just the EMT, just no, I wouldn't take grandma to the emergency room ever. Oh, ENT, ear, nose, and throat. Yeah, at the very least, take grandma, grandpa to the doctor if they're going deaf, and make sure it's not just earwax. 3 people I know, grandma and grandpa, had their hearing cleared up after they get this little peroxide stuff, they put it in your ears, you tilt your head sideways, and just let it sit there for a while, like that in that ear, and then that in that ear. I do it every other month or so, Carol. The cat's going to hate it because the earwax that it loves is going to be gone. But there are sacrifices we all have to make. So anyway, I just thought I would pass that along. Okay, Carol, can we talk about? Let's talk about The Tempest. Can we put that up? So I really like Shakespeare. I like reading it before I go see it because that helps you understand the in-jokes and the notes and all kinds of stuff, but you don't have to. But there's a really neat staging of Shakespeare's The Tempest by the History Stage Company that's being put on at the Raleigh Little Theater last weekend and this weekend. It's really neat. And, you know, you should go.
And tomorrow is Pay What You Can Day.
Oh, Thursday's Pay What You Can Day, Carol points out to me. Pay What You Can Day is Thursday, the 10th of April. But it's going through Friday, Saturday, it's 8 o'clock, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think 2 in the afternoon, maybe 3, I think 2. So anyway, we like saying that. That's really cool. Thought I'd mention that. Next thing, can we put up number 11, Carol? I'm going to start doing Website of the Week. If you haven't noticed it every week, it's because we've been doing it for 10 years and you're just unobservant. Oh, Carol laughs. Hey, don't undermine me. Don't undermine me. No. We're gonna do Website of the Week. Now, a lot of you hipsters are like, oh, wait, how do you use a puppet to say? Oh, no, much better. I'm still learning this. Stop judging me. Who are you to judge me? Okay, so a lot of hipsters are going, oh, I don't like the word hipsters, Carol. A lot of holier-than-thou types are going, he just recommends longform.org. That's old news. But really, 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 it's long articles about all kinds of subjects. Most of them recent, but then they scatter in ones from the 70s, 80s, 90s that they find too. If you want to slow your web viewing down, your web reading down, so it's not just Gawker, and BuzzFeed, and all those like, boom, 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 oh, I'm outraged, oh, that was funny, oh, look at a cute monkey, all that. Boom, 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 this is how I read the web, this is how I read the web, oh, look, I'm learning so much from, reading the web, and the internet, this is us on the internet. If you don't want to do that, go to sites like longform.org. So every time, website of the week, Carol, when I forget, you have to remind me. We're going to do website of the week. And seriously, don't let the people go, yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry. Oh, God, Carol, Shakespeare did a lot of fart jokes, No, really, in my defense. Nothing's as funny as a fart joke. Ask Will. Ask Will. So, anyway.
I love dressed as a girl. That's
What?
dressed as a girl. Drag.
Drag. Shakespeare did a lot of drag. Well, boys played girls all the time in Shakespeare's day. They didn't let women on stage. So boys had to play the girls. All the love scenes, Juliet, that was a boy. You knew that, right? This is not news, because you're a cultured person, right? Romeo and Juliet, as it was originally staged, was two guys, right? Okay. As long as we're clear on that, Carol. All right. Carol, I apologize on behalf of my half of the species for the sexism in our history. I just want to let you know. By the way, thanks for the lesbian eggs. Carol's giving me some lesbian eggs. Her ducks and chicken eggs are great. Perfect for quiche. All right, so what do we got next? Let's do number 8 again from last week. Remember, the North Carolina Democratic Party is pretty much falling apart this year. The Republicans are creaming their pants over this. We need to prove that Art Pope's vision for North Carolina is a minority view. He knows it, Carol. Art Pope knows that his vision of no safety net, of this, like every wolf out for themselves kind of vision of society is unpopular. So that's why they have to suppress the vote, Carol. That's why they have to buy elections. That's why they have to buy the judges on the Supreme Court to make sure their idiotic decisions that the majority of North Carolinians don't agree with aren't overturned. Most of you and most of me agree that Pat McCrory and Art Pope and the Republicans who run the legislature right now are wrong for North Carolina. So they have to suppress the vote to make sure our voices aren't heard. There's going to be a lot of absentee voter fraud because they let that loosen as they complain about fraud. While they're making up crap about this voter fraud, 700 cases of voter fraud, which, Carol, I will eat this monkey. If any of those cases result, I'll say 3. Out of 700, if 3 of those cases result in actual charges, I will eat this monkey. 3, just 3. It's not going to happen. The NNO does this story, oh, these are potential cases. And to its credit, the NNO editorial board, buried at the back of Section A, said, well, not so fast. The Charlotte Observer editorial board had a really great column that said this looks like crap. All they're doing is checking names, first and last names, and the last 4 digits of the social. They've done this over and over and over again in other states. Guess what? After their initial announcement of all these voter fraud cases, none, 0, 0, 0 have resulted in prosecution because they're all either clerk error or people who moved and are voting just in one state, not 2. I will eat this monkey if there's more than 500 voter fraud cases coming out of this study. I will eat this monkey if there's more than 200 voter fraud cases that get charges coming out of this study. I will eat this monkey, Carol, if there are more than 3 out of 700 cases they say are voter fraud. Potential. I love that. Potential. The NNO reporter who wrote that story, the NNO headline writer who wrote that story, should be ashamed. The story should have been controversial study that has resulted in 0 voter fraud prosecutions in other Republican-controlled states, announces 700 potential voter fraud cases in North Carolina. That should have been the headline. The NNO hasn't done a similar headline since. Front page, 700 potential voter fraud cases. It drives the conversation, freaks out the idiots who listen to 680 AM. And really, when you look at who this guy is who did this study, he's a Republican operative from Kansas who's done this in many, many Republican-controlled states, gotten newspapers to take the bait, and zero cases have been prosecuted from this guy. It's all false positives. It's all duplicates that are explainable by clerical error or some other option. 0 prosecutions, monkeys. 0. And yet it makes the front page at the NNO. That is what we call non-skeptical journalism. So, as the NC Democratic Party falls apart, and as the NNO proves itself unwilling to do even the most basic critical research before posting an article to its front page. This is basic stuff. Who is this guy? Who is this study? Instead, they just run with it to be first, and then apologize the next day on the in-house editorial page. Oh, that's not true. Where's the retraction on the front page, NNO? This is a garbage study. Anyway, as the NC Democratic Party, destroys itself, and the Republicans laugh and get the paper to do their bidding, you and I need to ask ourselves what we can do. Most of North Carolina, oh God, Carol, you got to tell me to take the vote. Mellifluous. A mellifluous voice. Honey, modulate up and down. Down. Listen to the monkey. The monkey speaks the truth. What are you and I going to do about this in 2014? We have the majority of voters. They're shutting down polling places in sites like Asheville. They're shutting them down. There's no more polling place on the campus of UNC Asheville. They have to walk, Carol, miles down a road with no sidewalks, students do, to get to the polling place. The one polling place left in Buncombe County. Seriously, that's what they're doing. They're shutting down the polls. They're going to purge the voting rolls this year. Watch. Put up number 12, Carol. The real point of scaring up this voter fraud garbage from this idiot in Kansas, this Republican idiot who makes these claims just so they get seated in the newspaper, knowing full well that they'll never result in any prosecutions because almost all of them are going to be clerical errors or just people who moved out of state and have only voted in one state. It's an idiotic press release that worked to get on the front page of the NNO, and the fact that the NNO got it, believed it, bought it, even for a day, is disgusting and is a black mark on the history of the NNO today. You're going to buy this crap, NNO? Oh, give us a press release. We won't research it ourselves until tomorrow, and then we'll run it on the front page. Bull crap. That's not a journalist. That's somebody passing along a press release. NNO should be ashamed. But the real point of the whole thing is they're going to claim that there's all these dead people voting, all these people in other states. We're going to do a massive voter purge. We saw it in Florida in 2010, I think, 2008. They purged the voting rolls of a ton of people, most of whom are Democrats. And then when they come to the polls, they don't have any recourse because they're not on the rolls. They don't announce. They purge everybody, and then somehow a significant percentage of the announcements that should be mailed to them don't get mailed. Whatever. The point is, they purge the voting rolls. That's what we're going to see in North Carolina. Hey, Rob Christensen, who actually had a column, Carol, recently. Whose side is God on, Democrats or Republicans? Oh, I know. Carol's like, oh, God. Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's the kind of mealy-mouthed, he said, she said, well, the Democrats think that God's on their side with the Moral Monday, and the Republicans think that God's on their side. Well, that's the kind of column Rob Christensen is doing. Here you go, Rob. Here's a prediction for you. There's going to be an attempt at a massive purge of the voting rolls from the Republicans this year. Watch. Oh, you remember those stories in the front page of the N&O, right? On the front page of the N&O about those hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of fraudulent voters and voting twice in 2 states, right? They're going to say that, and then say, we need a massive voting purge. Watch. That's the real point of this latest PR push that the N&O fell for, hook, line, and sinker. Bah! Was that furious enough? It almost looks like little lizard ears, doesn't it? Those little, when they get their inflamed, they pull out their necks. I wish I could do that. Anyway, all right. So there's a great link at Facing South. What's driving North Carolina's latest voting fraud hysteria? And they talk about this guy, this idiot. Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach launched the Interstate Voter Crosscheck Program. It's ridiculous. In 2013, the program flagged a staggering, I'm quoting now, a staggering 5 million records of people whose names and date of birth appeared to match. But how many of those voters actually were trying to cast double ballots? Kobach's office has produced little evidence to answer the question, and the data offers no proof such fraud is occurring. It's a scam. It's a PR scam. It's bull crap. Can I say bullshiznit? Bullshiznit. The real point is to make sure you look the other way when they start purging the voting rolls of Democrats later this year. Watch. It's happening. They're going to be closing more polls. They're going to be making it harder. They're doing a concerted campaign. They know the race is close between Kay Hagan and what's his head? Whoever his head's going to be, the Republican, Tillis. They know the race is going to be close. They're going to try to cheat. That's the only way they can win, because most of us disagree with Art Pope. Most of us disagree with Pat McCrory. That's why they're clamping down on poor people, black people, Hispanic people voting. That's why they're scared. They know we would win. So, what are you going to do this year to fight back? What are you going to do this year between now and November to help, not the Democratic Party, which is led by a bunch of idiots right now, but to help your state to be rather than to seem? You can seem to care, or you can be someone who cares.
So what should we do?
Volunteer. Carol's like, what should we do? Volunteer. If that means volunteering for the Democratic Party, that's one thing. If it means volunteering for the League of Women Voters, that's another. Call people. Get them out to vote. Volunteer at your local church. Volunteer at your local, any local organization that's driving people to the polls. Volunteer. Call. Make phone calls. Notice I'm not saying donate money. Make phone calls, volunteer, spend your time helping the Democrats win and helping Kay Hagan beat back the idiots who, if the Republicans control the Senate in this country, good Lord, we're screwed even more. Democrats aren't helping. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, with friends like Dianne Feinstein, Carol, who needs enemies, right? Until they start tapping her phone. Oh, suddenly this is a problem. Suddenly it's like, oh, Dianne Feinstein's like, oh, I'm a champion of civil liberties now. Before, I was an apologist for the NSA and the CIA and Clapper and all those people who don't give two craps. 2 monkey craps, Carol. That's how many craps they don't give. 2 big, stinking, liquid monkey craps. Clapper doesn't care about that Constitution. 2 big, stinking, liquid monkey craps.
All right, we have 2 minutes to talk about Captain America.
Oh, my goodness. Captain America. Carol says she will rip out my throat with her bare hands if I spoil Captain America for her. The second one. But I will say this, 2 points. First, it's kind of slow and grimdark. You know what I mean by grimdark, Carol? The opening half hour, it's all very black and the lighting is bad and it's all very grim. I'm like, oh, please, I went to see a comic book movie. Give me some freaking color, would you? But, okay, once you get past the fact that it starts off kind of slow, it turns out to be one of the best comic book movies in a long time. I would put it just below the Avengers, Carol. It gets big. But the politics are really good in Captain America. What Captain America discovers and the plot he uncovers is directly relevant to today's lifestyles. It's really good. Also, one criticism, Carol, you ready? Captain America, how much time I got? 1 minute. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Okay, I can do this. Captain America is one of the best fighters in the Marvel Universe. Geeking out here, Carol. No, really, Captain America is one of the best fighters. He may not be the strongest. He may not be able to beat the Hulk. God, who can? But, you know, can't beat magic, you know, whatever. But Captain America, fighting for fighting, hand-to-hand combat, one of the best, smartest, planning ahead fighters in the Marvel Universe. The fight scenes in this movie are better than in the first one, but they're still shaky cam, you know, shaky cam, that cut, and bam, there was a fight scene. Instead of backing up and showing us the fight scene, you know, pow, poof, pow. What, how many seconds? 20 seconds. You know what I mean? So the editing on the fight scenes is really jumbled and not very good. And if you want to see good fight scenes, I've mentioned this before, check the Sporting Goods fight scene in A Universal Soldier Resurrection. Came out a year or two ago. Great stuff. But it's a pretty good movie.